want to do with Shadow of the Eternals is create a game that's not being created anymore. If you look on the show floor out there's a lot of great games, but a lot of them have the check marks of first-person shooter, multiplayer. We're trying to do something that's different. We're trying to do something that says, okay, there's a lot of great games that way, but let's do something that's outside of the norm. Let's do a Lovecraftian, driven horror that's not a furious, fast action game, but more of a Lovecraftian adventure with historically grounded facts. So whether we're talking with Charlemagne or Elizabeth Bathory is one of the most famous serial killers, female serial killers, thought to have killed over 400 women. We thought introducing a character that you play as her lover is something very different that you just don't see in today's video games. And something that we think people will find very entertaining from a standpoint of what would it be like to live in that time?
Appear to be reproducing scripture.
Here as well, if you remember the first Eternal Darkness, it was pretty much limited to all indoor graphics, indoor environments. And now with this engine, we can go everything outdoor, but you can see the real-time shadows.
Actually, look up for a second. And this is also another cool feature by Brian. Look way up.
Look way up.
Yeah. And as you get the player, you can see kind of like the rays cutting through, and it's all very dynamic. And if you look closely at like the nebula again, you'll see like things are being like sucked into it. With all of like the little tails and things like that. So
Sean did the nebula.
It's kind of like
he's proud of it.
Like this is so Lovecraftian, and as an artist, I love doing this stuff because it gives you so many different layers to work with. So you can have like
the very first thing when you see this giant outdoor environment is you're gonna want to see the little nuances.
Yeah.
So it has a dynamic skybox.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And it's like this is just a prototype and a taste of like what we can do, right? And getting those exposés into the environment.
He's as amazed as I am.
Are you planning to have like for replayability, much like the original Eternal Darkness? Are you planning on having, like you can side with this god, this god?
Different choices will not only change content, but could change the characters that you actually play. So when you go to a level, depending on what choices you've made as Paul Becker, you may get a different character. So as our first episode, I'll just give this as an example. I'm not saying that's the case with our first episode, but you play Clara. But if you make different choices, maybe you're playing Elizabeth Bathory. So you see, the whole idea is there's many sides to a story, three sides. One side, another side, and the truth. And we're going to really play upon that in this game.
A world falling apart.
I find myself looking through Steam for that gem, despite all these awesome games coming out, because I know it's number 5 or number 10, and I really like the first one, and I thought the second one was pretty good too, but I don't know if I want to play the third one or the fourth one. I want something different, and that's where I think if you don't look beyond the surface, because a lot of those games out there are just surface. They're all about explosions and what can we do here, and we're trying to do something that's thought-provoking. And how many games will put you in a position of being two female serial killers in love, trying to get through this ordeal together, where someone's trying to become eternally youthful? Well, how would that play out? And that is a question that I think is not only entertaining, but is very historically accurate as much as possible, but also has these Lovecraftian fantasy elements that make it really stand out. And that's what I hope. I hope people like what they see here. I hope they look at this and go, this is worth supporting.
Like what their favorite games are, right? And generally they aren't the biggest, the loudest, the most explosions and things like that. They are, like Dennis said, it's like those gems that you find, like Journey and Braid and things like that. And I find that really interesting because those games speak volumes, and they don't need to be the loudest. They don't have to like have skyscrapers coming down and all this other stuff and explosions every 5 minutes. But it's the ones that make you think and also experience something that you probably haven't experienced before. And that's what we're really trying to do here.
I I think we're seeing nowadays a lot of customers seem to be ready to explore slower games or like, you know, different games, because, you know, you're always going to have the Call of Duty selling, but now you're seeing like people buying games like Slender, The Arrival, and stuff like that on Steam. It's, you know, quiet, it's different, and, you know, there's no combat involved. In fact.